Every AI assistant now has a browser, and every one of them stops at the same place. This is that place, and this is how a robot gets past it. The Freedonia Revenue Service. Electronic invoices, VAT returns, official notices. It is a government portal, which means it has no API and no intention of getting one. Signing in takes a tax identification number, a password, and then a one-time code on the next screen. That second screen is where an assistant driving a browser stops. A robot has all three out of the vault and never shows them. Here the code is fixed because this is a training portal. A real one rotates, and our two-factor package makes it from the shared secret. Pass the code. This account is an authorized representative for 12 client companies. Each one has its own VAT returns and its own penalties, and every one of them is behind that same login. The question we want to answer is the ordinary one an accountant asks on a Monday. Is this client behind on VAT, and if so, what do they owe? Answering it by hand is a sign-in, a client to pick, and 2 pages to read. 12 clients every month against a deadline that does not move. So it is worth automating, and that part is ordinary RPA. A browser, a vault, and a couple of tables. What is new is who gets to ask. This flow does not run once and finish. It starts a server and waits. Listen, HTTP is the whole of the MCP surface. It speaks the streamable HTTP transport on a port you choose. Everything hanging off its tools port becomes a tool an assistant can call. 3 of them because 1 tool is a demo and 3 is a surface. List the clients, check a company VAT status, find an invoice. We will open each one in a minute because what is inside them is the whole interface. Whichever tool is called, the first thing that happens is signing in. So all 3 wire into the same subflow. Open the browser, 3 secrets out of the vault, and answer the one-time code. Then read the client list off the page, because 2 of the 3 tools need it. And a switch on which tool was called. Tool inputs that name on the message for us. Listing the clients is already done. The list is on the message, so just shape it. The other 2 both need a company, so they share one lookup. And this node finds and routes at once 3 outputs. The VAT question, the invoice question, or a company this account holds no mandate for. Each question gets its own subflow, returns and penalties for one. Electronic invoices for the other. And a function each, turning a scraped table into the object the model actually wanted. 2 small things in these were learned by running them rather than reading them. The portal prints its column headings in capitals, so columns are looked up without caring about case. And its amounts use a comma for thousands, so parsing them the other way round would multiply every penalty by 100. Close the browser, because a call that leaves 1 open leaves 12 open by lunchtime. And every path, including the refusal, leaves by the same door. A model never sees this canvas. It sees 3 things per tool, and this is where they live. The name is what it calls. Lowercase with underscores, like a function, because that is what it is. The description is how it decides to call this one rather than another. Write it for somebody who has never seen this portal, because that is exactly who is reading it. And the parameters are behind a double click on the node. The name, the description, and a table of parameters, that is the whole contract. This one has no parameters at all, and the table is empty. Listing the clients needs nothing, so asking for something would only give the model a way to be wrong. The second tool. Check VAT status and a description that says when to reach for it. Has a company filed? Is it late? Does it owe money? Those words are doing real work. They are the only reason a model picks this tool over the other 2. Its parameters. 1 row, company, a string, with a description of its own and an example in it. And ticked in the last column, so the model knows it cannot call this without one. That example earns its place. It tells the model what a company name looks like in this portal. And the third. Find an invoice, optionally filtered to one counterparty. Which is the shape worth seeing? 2 rows this time, and the difference is the last column. Company is ticked, counterparty is not. So the model can call this with a company on its own and get everything, or add a counterparty and narrow it. Nothing else in this flow is negotiable with the model. 3 names, 3 descriptions, and these tables. Now the server itself. Port 8080 on the MCP path. That is the address a client is given. Stateless mode on. No session identifier is issued at all, so every request stands on its own. Which means a second robot running this same flow can answer the same client without anything shared between them. Call timeout 120 seconds, because signing into a portal and reading 2 tables is not a fast API call. And the bearer token, bound to a vault item. That token is the only secret a caller is ever given. The tax number, the password, and the code stay in the vault. Save because the robot runs the saved flow and not the one on your screen. Run it on a robot. No browser opens and nothing happens. It has bound the port and it is waiting. From here on, everything is somebody else asking. The server is running and it speaks ordinary MCP, so anything that speaks MCP can use it. Here is the one most people already have. 1 line, a transport, a URL, and the bearer token. That token is the entire secret it is given, not the tax number, not the password, not the code. List them. Connected, and notice what the assistant knows about this server, a name and an address. It has no idea there is a robot behind it, or a browser, or a government portal. Start a session. Skipping permissions, because this is our own machine and our own training portal. Ask it what it just gained. And there they are, the 3 tools described back in the assistant own words. Every word of that came off the 3 panels we filled in. Nothing else about the flow reached it. So ask the question an accountant would actually ask, in the words they would use. Nobody names a tool here, and nobody fills in an argument. It reads the 3 descriptions, picks the one about VAT and penalties, and puts the company in the argument itself. And then this happens, which is the part worth waiting for. A browser, on the robot, opening a portal the thing that asked has no account for. Tax number, password, and the code. When a real one rotates, a chat assistant can ask a person for it. Then the client it was asked about, the returns, and the penalties. 12 seconds, including a 2-factor login, and it closes the browser behind itself. Yes, it is behind. The May return is late, €20,017 due on the 10th of August. 2 penalties on top, $250 for the late submission and $88.40 in interest. $338.40 outstanding, and it says which regulation each one is under. Those numbers were not in any model. They were on a page 40 seconds ago behind a login. And the assistant that just read them out could not have signed in if you had asked it to. Now the second tool, and the thing it does that is easy to miss. That question has 2 facts in it, a company and a counterparty. The schema had a required company and an optional counterparty, and that is all it was ever told. It signs in again because every call stands on its own. And it filled the optional argument in by itself, off the sentence. 2 invoices from Alpine Water, with their document numbers, their dates, and their amounts. €7,267 between them, which it added up on its own. One more, and it is the one that decides whether any of this is safe to use. This account holds no mandate for Acme, so the tool refuses. Tool out set the error flag, so the assistant is told the call failed and why. Watch what it does with that. It does not guess a number. It says it cannot tell you, and then it goes and lists the 12 companies to show you Acme is not one of them. A tool that returns nothing looks like a tool that found nothing. That flag is the difference. One node turns a flow you already have into a tool any assistant can call. The tool description is the whole interface, so it is worth more care than the code behind it. And stateless means no call is pinned to a machine, so the second robot costs nothing to add. A portal with no API, a login an assistant cannot pass, and an answer in about a minute. The flow is linked below, and the portal is public, so you can point your own assistant at it. Thank you for watching.